Hello, my inky friends. It's Cindy Lynn with my Inky Fingers. Thank you so much for joining me today on my YouTube channel and blog. Today we are creating some backgrounds, or even kind of like creating your own designer series paper. So I've already made this card and I'm showing you here. I switched up one of the colors. I'll tell you about that when I get there later. I didn't like this color I did on this card. But we are going to put this card together today by making our own backgrounds. So I'm going to pull out my Stamparatus, and I like using my Stamparatus for this, well, because I can get a really good impression, but I'm going to do some coloring on my background stamp. Now, I like to put my background stamp on my Stamparatus and then my paper on my door. Don't use Stampin' Seal for this because it's way too sticky. So I'm going to use the old snail because I find that it's easier to get my cardstock off of the door of my Stamparatus. But I am going to use Pear Pizzazz, Blushing Bride, and Coastal Cabana. So as you can see, I'm just going to color this marker here just kind of randomly. Wherever. I just kind of don't want, there's no rhyme or reason. I don't want it perfect. A little bit of color here, a little bit of color there. You decide where you want your color to go. But I want to apply the Coastal Cabana first because I find that after you've stamped this, flipped your door over and put your paper on there, I'm going to huff on it too. And huffing on it just kind of helps reactivate, warm up the ink. But you can see there that I can see that Coastal Cabana. So it really helps me when I come in with my Pear Pizzazz and my Blushing Bride. So I'm going to do it in 3 steps and just add each color as I go. And for some reason, I didn't get a good impression here with my Pear Pizzazz. Another reason for using your Stamparatus, because then you can just put some more ink and flip that door back over again. So I wanted to mention this video series has moved from Monday to Tuesday. If you didn't catch any of the announcements yesterday, Monday in your time, on my Facebook or on YouTube, I am going to attempt to upload 3 videos a week. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And just to kind of space them out a little bit better, I thought those days looked really good. And you guys are online a lot on Sundays too. So I want to make sure that I'm there to give you a video on Sunday. So anyhow, back to my card. I'm just going to lift that up. If you have a hard time, just put like something flat under there just to kind of peel it, and then use your embossing destatification tool to destaticify, unglue that tape runner, and then it won't be sticky and give you a hard time. So I'm also going to use that destatification tool on that Blushing Bride, on that Blushing Bride cardstock. And I'm going to use some Versamark ink and that stamp out of the Tasteful Touches. It was the Tasteful Touches. Yes, it was the Tasteful Touches. I actually made this card a couple of days ago, guys, so you gotta bear with me. So nevertheless, I'm going to put some silver embossing powder on there. And Mackie, that is for you, girl. That's that tool I was telling you about. We were talking about it in the comments. I got that brush at the dollar store to wipe all my little granules off of my workspace. I hate all those little granules everywhere. So here, I'm gonna pull out the Forever Flourishing dies and the Tasteful Labels dies, and I'm going to do the little green spriggy there 2 times, and then everything else just cut it out once. Now I want to use my water painter here and the Pear Pizzazz because you know me, I can't just leave anything the way it is. I've gotta take it up a notch. We've got to take this card to the next level. So this here, so simple. Just pounce that color. I mean, no rhyme or reason again. And just a tip, if you make sure that your ink there that you added some water to in your pan is really light, then you can always go darker, but you can't lift the color and go lighter afterward, right? So this dries super quick. I mean, our cardstock is fantastic. It really soaks up this water really well. So I can go in a couple times and just keep adding some dimension. Clean your water painter off there with a paper towel until you don't see any color come out, and you're good to go. So back to the splatters. Of course, I will link my splatters for you guys. I'm going to use the one that I made in my top 10 stamping tools and supplies. So I'll link that video for you so you can see how I made this one. So I'm going to just splatter those up there and then bring my background back in. Now what I want to do is I just kind of want to lay things down so I can see where that flower from the Tasteful Touches is going to go, because I don't want it in the wrong position, right? So I can kind of see there, and then I just use my tweezers to pick up my sentiment label because it's still kind of wet. So I'm going to use some embossing powder. Now, I took a break, so all of my ink was really, really dry. You can always run your embossing powder just dry over your whole background and make sure all your granules fall off. And if they do, then it's dry and you're good to go, right? So I'm going to stay in theme here, and I'm going to do the silver. I'm going to ink that up with the Versamark, put the silver embossing powder on it, and heat it up until it's nice and smooth and melted. And I'm not going to show you the whole step for the second flower. I am going to show you how I placed it, but I just kind of cut out when I inked everything up and put the powder on and heat set it, because you guys get it. Now here, this is definitely in my top 10 stamping tools and supplies, that acetate, because that their flower, that stamp, is sticky from the last time I stamped it. So putting that acetate there completely protects my background. So see how easy peasy that is? Now, of course, I did change this. It is on page 138 of the 2020 Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, because of course it's our case, the catalog Monday. I almost said Monday. I did say Monday. I guess it's Tuesday. I don't know how long it's going to take me to figure that out. And oh, these new little bottles. I'm sure I must have mentioned these little bottles. I have put all my stuff in these little bottles. They are so easy to squeeze. I'll link them down below, but I put my glue in them, my crystal effects, my shimmery crystal. I put everything in there. They're so much easier to use. So here, I'm just going to kind of trim up all of these little sprigs because they're a little bushy. They need a haircut. So I'm just trimming them up, and I'm just showing you there kind of where I trimmed them. And these bottom ones, I'm going to save those because I want to use, I want to keep them on the front of the card, 2 of them anyway, but I just didn't want them in the position they were. So I'm just kind of reforming those little leaves where I cut them off of the main one. Super easy. And you know, you don't have to be perfect at it, because when it's perfect, it's not homemade anymore, right? So 2 of them, I'm going to set them aside and show you how I did the inside. I'm going to try to make it a habit to always do the insides for you guys too. So I'm going to save 2 for that, and I'm just kind of playing with them, forming them up. And as you can see, I was kind of a little out of frame there, but it's pretty easy with the snips. So here, I'm going to pull out the Forever Greenery Combo, the white linen thread. And I didn't do this on the example card, but I wanted to kind of add a little pop. Now, the background there that I stamped on, or that I splattered, I did change that. I was going to go with, what color was it? There was another, the same color as the ink, actually. It was Coastal Cabana. But I found it was just, I didn't like it. It was kind of dark on the card. So I changed that one to Pool Party. So on the example card in the front of the video, beginning of the video, it was Coastal Cabana. But here I'm using Pool Party. So I just put some tape runner on there, trimmed up that ribbon. And I'm not getting fancy with it. I just wanted a little something extra there. I'm going to go obscene, absurd, way too many dimensionals like I always do. But I'm not too worried about too much glue on that ribbon, because the dimensionals, I mean, there's 17,000 there. It's going to hold them all down, right? So I'm good to go. So I'm going to put that on top. And then I'll just trim off my tails there a little bit more now that I kind of can see where everything is laying. And then that's going to go right on top in the center of the card. So when it comes to the leaves though, I think I'm going to do those next. I believe I am. I'm going to only put the glue on the bottom parts because I don't want them glued right down. But these little bottles, oh my gosh, they've changed my life. There's such precision in that little needle tip. And for my arthritis hands, they're so easy to squeeze. I put my fine tip glue pen in them. I've got 4 of them. I'm going to show you guys at some point. I'll show you, but I love them. So those extra little leaves that I cut out, you can see I'm just kind of placing them there. And I brought my label back in just so I could see where everything was going to go, pushing that all down. And I'm really liking that. So I'll use an obscene amount of dimensionals again, just to give that a little bit extra pop there. And it really helps because there's kind of a little dimension going on with those leaves, right? So this kind of evens everything back out again. So I did adhere that to the front of my card. That is a on the thick Whisper White. So here I want to use a sentiment that kind of goes, kind of goes with the front of the card too. You guys can use whichever ones you want, but what I was going for, because I used this stamp out of the Tasteful Touches, I wanted my sentiment to be longer. I wanted the sentiment to kind of stand out. So I chose black because black is really going to stand out, and I couldn't get a good ink impression there. So flip your ink pad upside down. And then as you can see here, bam, beautiful, beautiful impression on that. So those last two little sprigs, I mean, may as well stay in theme and not waste those. I am going to put a little bit of extra glue here because I do want these tacked down pretty good. We don't want them peeling up inside the card. And then there we have it. I mean, that was so easy peasy. You guys got to let me know what you think about the Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday upload days. And I posted a giveaway yesterday on the paper pumpkin unboxing. So if you haven't seen the giveaway, make sure you get entered because that's for you guys. It's my way of saying thank you to all of you for all of your support. Much hugs, much love. Thank you so much for visiting me today. And until I see you guys again, take care and happy stamping.